Hello, my name is Scott. This is the one of the videos that I was telling you about for um, one-ton pickup trucks that they come from the factory. But what I do is I take all of the engine out, I take the fuel tank out, the exhaust off, and re-prep the truck to get converted to electric, and that's what I do. For anybody who I'm open to the public, so anybody can get one of these trucks made. I can make whatever you want. Um, anyway, I've got a 2005 Ford F-350. I did two other videos on this truck. This is the main video that I wanted to show you. It's it's got 36-foot gooseneck trailer with a farm tractor on the back, and the trailer is 8,000 pounds. The truck is 8,000 pounds. I don't know how much the farm tractor weighs, but that's quite a bit of weight there, and it's good to prove. A good way to prove that this thing can pull some heavy weight. We're gonna probably go about 4 miles, 2 miles down and 2 miles back. We're not trying to get a super duper long video here that can kind of get aggravating to viewers. You don't really want a super duper long video. I'm trying to do is get the point across that what my company can do. I had this thing finished probably around March of 2020. Sorry it took so long to get the video to make it, and now it's June, so had a lot of stuff going on. So anyway, this is a 36-foot gooseneck trailer. This is a really neat trailer, tandem axle deck over trailer. It's got a farm tractor on it. It's hooked up to my electric F-350, and back here is the battery bank. Now this is 96 batteries, 345 volts, I think it's what it's running at, peak voltage. Normally it's in the 300 range. With this range of these batteries, you can go anywhere, depending on how heavy your foot is on the pedal, anywhere from 120 miles to 200 miles, and that's loaded or not loaded. It's pretty much the same. These are 200 amp hour batteries. This is a 60 kilowatt pack, and I really enjoy this. It's a lot of fun to do, and so what I'm going to show you next is this is the battery charger, and it's sitting right here. It's just a simple battery charger. It's a power factor corrected battery charger. This right here is hooked to it. It's 240 volt single phase 3-wire plug. Pulls about 35 amps on the AC side, pulls about 20 amps on the DC side to charge it up. So this battery charger charges this bank at a 20 amp rate. I kept the gooseneck hitch in here, and it's hooked up and ready to rock and roll, and got all this hooked up here. This is the trailer wire. This right here is an Anderson connector, and it's not hooked up right now, but this Anderson connector you can connect to this and put a bumper trailer on here, or even put a battery back on this trailer, and then run a battery pack to this controller, this piece right here, this contactor. Actually, this is just a little connector. I call it a contactor because it's contacting, but anyway, you can plug into this and give this twice the range with another 96 batteries. But anyway, we're all bolted down and chained down, so we're not going anywhere. I'm going to show you some more features of this truck. This is I made my own foot pedal, and what this does is molted down, and that's a potentiometer. I built my own dashboard. This is the meter. We're going to be looking at this meter quite a bit. This does voltage. We're sitting at 320 volts right now, pack voltage. Amp hours, we've used up 0.4 amp hours so far of just moving the truck around on the property. And we've only been here for 39 minutes. So that's the amperage, and we'll get into that here in a minute. This right here is a button that controls the speed like a cruise control. So if you don't have your foot on the pedal and you want to control this, this controls the speed of the motor just like the pedals would do. This right here just turns on and off the meter. That right there is a bubble box for bleeding the air out of the liquid part that controls the liquid controller. So we want to keep this controller nice and cool, and these hoses allow for the flow and the pump to pump through here to keep this cool. And we'll show you that part here in just a minute. But anyway, I keep everything exposed so that customers can see and get their eyes and hands on things so they can understand what they're looking at. So that's why everything is open and exposed so that you can see everything going on. Anyway, this right here, if I get in a wreck and the throttle ends up being wide open or something, I can just pull this off, this Anderson connector, and it disconnects all the power from the battery tank to here. So that now nothing has any power and nothing will turn on. And you just plug it back in, reset everything, and you can turn it back on if you need to. I'm going to set the gain on here. Usually I put it around 0.5 right there. Okay, well, let's take a look, see. Oh, by the way, this is a Tremec 5-speed transmission. I got this from Jegs. It's a neat little transmission. It doesn't have a clutch, doesn't need one. This thing will start off in any gear. I put a metal plate right here. This is my plate that causes conversation. I'm in a parking lot and people look at that and they're like, "What is this plate?" I was like, well, I pop the hood and they see this, they see the electric motors and they're like, "Oh wow, this is really cool." And so these batteries, this blue one and that blue one, are for the 12-volt system. And the 12-volt system runs the headlights and all the other normal things that a 12-volt system would run in a pickup truck. This right here is a motor that runs this Hydro Booster system. And the Hydro Boost is in line with this power steering pump right here. And it also is connected to this brake booster. So this thing, when it's running, can run the brake booster and the power steering pump simultaneously. Here's the alternator. It's hooked up in such a way where you can see the belts on here and you can turn it with your hand. It's in neutral. And so this thing spins and runs and charges the 12-volt system only. This is the first motor. These are 9-inch net gain motors. This is a very well made motor. It's a DC series wound brush motor, basically. And there's 3 of them. They're wired series and they're connected in series. And so the controller looks at them as just one giant motor. It doesn't know there's 3 motors here. It doesn't need to. It just puts power to them and they turn. This is the positive contactor. That's the negative contactor. And that's what powers the power, turns on the power from the battery bank to the controller. And it works really well. This right here is a hose that would go to the heater core. I don't have the kit installed yet. I'm going to get that kit later on in the future. And that hose right there where my finger is pointing is the other end of the same hose. This right here is for the air conditioner stuff. There is a kit that you can buy for that. I haven't bought it yet. I'm going to do that later on in the future. And it'll run the AC and get the air in there in the cab nice and cool and feel really well. This right here is a cooler. There's a computer fan right here. There's 4 of them. And what that does is hook to a transmission cooler and cool the transmission cooler off with this coolant running through it from the controller. A lot of customers ask about that. And so that's what that is. This controller is designed for full load, continuous duty, continuous run application. And you want to keep it cool, and that's what it does. And it works really well. This is a 2005 F350. So just a regular pickup truck. Runs really well. I'm very happy with this. This is a lot of fun. There's the Breville burp box. I call it the burp box. That's this top level up here is where the bubbles come up when you're bleeding the system, and then you close it off with this cap, and then it just flows in here and keeps everything full. And then if there's something low, if it gets low, you have to go find the leak and then fill it back up again, and there you go. This is a Zilla controller made in Florida. Godzilla is still the king. This is a 2000 amp controller made in USA. Very well made machine. This is a data cable that comes from this brain. This right here is called the hairball, and this is a lot of fun. I have everything opened up and exposed so that the customers can look at this and they want to get their eyes and hands on stuff. So this is what we do. This is how we do that. We have everything opened up to where you can look right at it and say, oh, that's what it looks like. Okay, so on and so forth. And this is just a regular 5-speed Tremec transmission, just the same as all the other Tremec transmissions. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and head on down the highway, and we're going to go 2 miles down and 2 miles back, And we're going to look at the amperage. We're going to look at the voltage and check how everything's going to go with this. I've been meaning to come out with this video a long time ago, but certain things I had to take care of, and it kind of took time away from it. So we've got the video now, and this truck was done probably finished about the end of March of this year, 2020. So anyway, we're gonna head on down the highway. I'm just a one-man operation, otherwise I'd have other people filming for me, but right now I'm just gonna film this thing. I'm gonna go 2 miles down, 2 miles back, and then we're gonna just set it up to where you can, you know, review the video and see what you think about it. And if you have any problems or questions, just give me a call. And so anyway, what I normally do is I take my flip-flop off so I can put my foot on the pedal and feel the pedal better, because that right there is where I put the pedal. Let me put the old seat belt on. Gotta have safety, you know. Safety is number one. Let's see. All right, so we undo the emergency brake, and we put this in first gear, and we head on down the way there. So right now, starting off, we're pulling about 70, 80, 90 amps. We're just kind of cruising on down the way. We're at about 120 amps, 14 miles an hour. We don't want to get too fast. There's the speed of the motors, so on and so forth. And we're at 13.6 volts on the 12 volt system, so it's charging pretty well. Yeah, I live out in the country. It's a lot of fun. Do a lot of pulling with this truck. I actually use this all the time to pull heavy equipment, and I make money with it. I don't have to spend money on fuel, so a lot of that money goes now to profit, which is a good thing. And so there's no fuel cost when I'm hauling this heavy equipment for a friend of mine. He owns a local construction company, and sometimes I get to haul his equipment for him, which is a lot of fun. Wait for the gate to open up, a little automatic gate. Alrighty, now we go forward. It's neat how it's so quiet, you don't hear anything. It's just tire noise and wind noise, and you get a lot of that. Yeah, let me show you about this. This right here runs that electric motor that does the pump, the Hydro Boost pump. This one that's up, what it does is it runs all the cooling system for the controller. This one right here runs the battery bank fans, and I'll show you that at the end of the video. This right here just turns on the inside light. That's all it does, that's not a problem. So we're clear both ways. Got a little blinker on. I'm gonna turn this on. So we're pulling about 60 something amps. Got to come out wide. So I don't keep the Hydro Boost on the whole time, and you don't need to, because you can still steer the vehicle and still stop the vehicle. This just helps you do it more efficiently. So here we go down the road. We're pulling about 122 amps. We're doing about 20 miles an hour right now, 2,500 RPMs. And we're going to keep going. We're going to go about 2 miles, and then we're going to turn around in a little turnaround spot, and then we're going to come back. And then I'll explain more things to you later on. We don't want to get too fast. We're pulling about 220 amps. This road is a very bumpy county road, and they're usually bumpy and so on and so forth. Now keep in mind, you can also pull 0 amperage while you're just letting it cruise down a hill. And that also is a thing you can do to save on amp mileage. And so we're right about 3,000 RPMs, 28 miles an hour. This is a slow mile per hour road. And notice that we're pulling 0 amperage because we're just coasting. So that's the neat thing about it. You can also coast in this thing. And when you're coasting, it saves amperage. Now we're going to slow it down a little bit. There's a railroad track here. Now we're going a little over 30. And pulling about 270 amps. Down about 94 right now, 92, 80s. And so we can do highway speeds, but we don't want to have a terribly long video here because that's kind of a pain in the ass. Anyway, we'll turn on our little brake system there. We'll start to slow this little fella down. Pull in here and do a little turnaround. We'll go a little faster up that hill. See how she goes. Now the neat thing about this is you can float shift. So right now there's no clutch. I can just take this and just float shift it. That's the neat part about doing this type of thing. This has synchronizers in the transmission, and we can float this little puppy right on down the way there, which is great. About 260 amps, 180, 170, somewhere around there. It kind of bobs around. The amperage will bob around a little bit. We're still in second gear. We're doing about a little under 3,000 RPMs, 30 miles an hour. Now keep in mind we're going up a hill, so that's a pretty good thing. That means we're pulling a lot of amperage, about 360 amps, going up a hill. We're more than 16,000 pounds. The truck is 8,000 pounds, the trailer is 8,000 pounds. I don't know how heavy that farm tractor is, but I don't know, maybe 5,000 pound range, maybe, I don't know. We'll go on down, further down, see how fast we can get this puppy. We're at 37 right now. Now let's see, we shifted it, we're now in third gear. And about 300 amps. Miles an hour, 2,000 RPMs. Still trailing that little equipment pretty well. before. It's actually pretty fast, actually. And going up another hill. So we're at 46 miles an hour. 197 amps. Pretty good. As things start to speed up, the amperage will go down a little bit, which is fine. Not a problem. Still cruising along, 41 miles an hour. We're gonna start slowing down. We got a little speedy weedy up here. We gotta take it easy. Alrighty, we're gonna do a little dado here. So put it in reverse, do a little turnaround. Kind of funny going in reverse. And we're going to go back down that road right there. Take it out of reverse, put it in first, turn our little hydro booster. And we do a little turn like this. We try not to make this video too long, but we got up to highway speeds there for a little bit, and then we kind of slowed back down. Anyway, here we go. Going forward again, which is really cool. We got a lot of weight here, so we don't want to rush anything or go too fast. We don't want to tear up any equipment. We don't want to tear up the transmission. These motors can put out a lot of power. It's real easy to do the calculation on the power output. If you look at this, 189 amps, you calculate that at 300 volts, you get a number. And that number would be what it would be if you had horsepower. But that's electric motor horsepower. And I think you multiply that number times 3, and that's how you get the piston engine horsepower. So right now we're about 100 amps, doing about 3,000 RPMs at 25 miles an hour. We're fixing to go up here and turn around or turn into the property here in just a second. So we don't want to go too fast. But anyway, that's the point. The point is that we're cruising down the highway with a lot of weight, and we're showing the people, potential customers, that this is possible and that we can do this, and a lot of fun to do, and so on and so forth. These batteries I have are made by a company called Real Force. And they're 200 amp hour batteries. And they charge at 3.6 volts, fully charged. So we're going to just wait for the gate to open up, and then we're going to go on in, and we'll park the vehicle, and we'll talk a little more about this vehicle and electric vehicles in general, and then we'll show you the battery bank, and we'll show you a few other features that we've got on this vehicle. Sometime in the future, I'm going to do another video where we're pulling this same piece of equipment at much higher, faster highway speeds. But for now, we kind of want to work our way into it slowly, because we don't want to get things too crazy too fast. People like to absorb information a little at a time, and so we don't want to get too crazy and too fast with it for now. But we're at 39 amps, going about 15 miles an hour at about 1500 RPMs, and we're fixing to come to a stop up here in just a second. There's different ways you can set up the brakes on this thing, and right now I just have it where it's the Hydra Boost. That's what came in the vehicle from the factory, and so on and so forth. Anyway, I like to put my foot on the gas pedal by itself so I can feel the pedal. Anyway, this number 3 right here, what it's going to do is it's going to turn on the battery bank cooling system. Now this is an air-cooled battery bank, and these right here are the blowers that blow air out. And there's 3 of them. And so what happens is air comes in with these filters, these 3 filters here, blows the air over the top of the battery under this acrylic, because this is acrylic right here, and it blows it right on out the back. And so we can keep this battery bank cool for a very long period of time, indefinitely. And so, anyway, the 36-foot flatbed trailer, it's about 8,000 pounds. The truck's 8,000 pounds. And whatever that farm tractor weighs, I don't know what that is. Let's see, that's a 5103 tractor. It's got this bucket on it. Doesn't have anything on the back there. But what, you know, y'all, I guess you could probably Google it. I probably should have Googled it before I started this video. But anyway, that's basically it, really. I just wanted to show you that, you know, what this thing can do, and it's designed to pull heavy loads down the highway, and it does that fairly relatively well. I'll have another video in the future of it doing the highway speeds, but right now we just kind of show people the things it can do for now, and then we'll probably do another video sometime in the future about that. But anyway, basically that's it. We got the Zilla controller there, and we've got the 3 9-inch motors. It's a pretty neat setup. I use this all the time, haul heavy equipment. So but that's basically it, really. If you have any questions, go to the website. You'll find the phone number up there at the upper right hand corner on the website. It's Earth, EARTH LINE, like a line in the road, manufacturing, Earthline Manufacturing, just how it spells, all one word, all lowercase, .com. And just get the number on there and just call me up, and we'll sit down and talk turkey and do whatever you want to do. We can do a whole entire fleet of these, or we can do just one of them. If you want to guinea pig a vehicle, we can guinea pig a vehicle and, you know, make it do what it's going to do, so you can see what it will and won't do or whatnot. If you need improvements later, we can do that. So generally trying to keep the video from being too long. So basically that's it. And I do this all the time, and all the parts are pretty much in stock. And so I appreciate you listening, and have a nice day.